This is the spiritual samurai scribe. I look back at my life and I think about how far I came and the fact that individuals like ourselves, we're not supposed to make it this far to the extent of actually having faith in the Most High and actually genuinely meaning it. You know, living a very disciplined life, militant, and you're the real deal because other people see it, other people have witnessed your actions of integrity and that you really do mean what you say. You're not just saying it. You know, that's why I don't give a damn about these so-called religious spirits, Pharisees, modern day Pharisees, because at the end of the day, for one, we were given a difficult path to walk. We were placed in a position where we had to break generational curses the moment that we left the womb. We had to fight so many battles, spiritual and even physical in some cases. Psychological warfare on top of that. And so think about all of the pain that you've experienced in your life. You literally have been through every kind of pain that was supposed to transform you and turn you into a savage. You're supposed to be a part of the darkness. You're supposed to be what? Why do you think the devil kept trying to come after us? Oh yeah, because we have that energy. We have that big energy. You know, we have a lot of passion. And that passion can quickly turn into anger, wrath. And you know the devil loves to use our anger to do some crazy shit. And there you go. And when you don't feel like, when you don't feel the warmth of God's love, due to these experiences, you have the tendency to gravitate toward the darkness because the devil will lie to you. The devil will take advantage of your vulnerability to make you believe that you're unlovable and thus causing you to walk away from God. And that's the reason why some of us fall for the trap. You know, now we may have been tempted. We may have been led astray. Yes, but we did not fall completely. And even if we did, you know, we stumbled here and there, but we did not completely fall. We're not fallen. We're not 100% fallen because we're still here. We're still learning, especially at the point in time right now when you're listening to this message. And as I'm producing this message, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that we have made it farther than most people, especially given our background. Look at all of the things that we had to face and the fact that we still chose the divine light. We still chose the Most High and truly mean it, truly walk by that faith, truly denying the flesh because you understand the significance of having control over your mind. You deep down, even the people that slandered you, they know that they're wrong. The reason why they come back is because they know that you're a good person and they want that supply. That's why they keep trying to hoover back, because what kind of person hoovers back to a scumbag? If you're so toxic, why the hell do they keep trying to come back? That's what you have to keep in mind. So all that goofy stuff that they say about, oh, this and that, you're this, you're that, that's dead. That dies tonight. It's been dead. It's been dead before I even made this video because we know who we are. We know exactly who we are. So that stuff doesn't matter. You have walked an extremely difficult path with an enormous amount of pain, emotionally, spiritually, and sometimes even physically too. People have no idea how incredible it is that you've chosen the path of light. I'm speaking as a person who didn't think that I belong to God. You know, the more you learn about yourself, the less power they have over you. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. You were never broken. You were wounded. They tried to break you. Maybe they thought they did. Maybe when they looked back at your life, they assumed that the trajectory of your life, according to your past traumas, that it would lead to destruction, that it would lead to being broken. So that is why they were so quick to write you off based on those assumptions. Oh, you have to go against all odds. Oh, they refuse to invest into you. Even though these are people that were supposed to love you, or people that promised to love you, whatever the case is in your life. they just did not see your potential, even though it always existed. And it goes back to the fact that they do not have the vision. You have it, and you've had it the whole time, but there are people, the so-called certain people in your life, they were hoping that you never wake up to your own sight, to be able to be your own visionary and to see the kind of path that you were made to trailblaze through. See, people don't see your vision because all they see is that you're in the wilderness. Okay, well, guess what? That means that when it comes to undeveloped land, when it comes to the wilderness, that means that it's up to you to blaze a trail through it and start building on that land. That's what that means. But most people, they'll look at that piece of land that you have in the wilderness and they'll just not think much of it. They'll just think, oh yeah, that person is destitute. Oh yeah, and I'm looking at all this stuff that they've been through. Oh yeah, they're not going nowhere. Like, really? And they call themselves people of faith, and they have no faith in them whatsoever, you know? And once they see you growing, you know, that's gonna cause them to question everything they thought they knew. You become a vessel of empowerment, and that right there is a blessing in of itself. It gets to a point where now it's hard to believe that you were ever broken. But you know what? Because the truth is, you were never broken. The truth is, you were never broken. That's the thing. You were wounded, you know? But just like when a person is wounded, they're on the floor, you know, they've got injuries and stuff, and most people would expect them to die. And so, guess what? Turns out that you came back to life, and you addressed those wounds by yourself. You realize that you have accomplished things that most people, about 90, 95, maybe 99% of the world's population can't do. Do you really think that most people actually address their own wounds by themselves and still, despite all of the pain that they have inside them, despite living with the curse mark of SA, the curse marks of this and that, right? All that spiritual and psychological warfare, all types, man, from emotional to the physical abuse. Yeah, you've had all of that thrown at you. But somehow, in some way, you end up having a very powerful faith in the Most High. But somehow, you're the one that's broken, right? That's what they tell you. That's what they told me. And I laugh, you know. That's why I know that I've had the ability to alchemize every form of pain that has ever existed in my psyche and in my heart. You were never broken. You were wounded. And some of you guys were severely wounded. How I stay grounded is I always remind myself of how far I came. I don't care what people think when they see me, because obviously I don't look like what I've been through at all. You know, unless you could stare into my soul or something like that. You know, some people could kind of see like, yeah, you know, the thing about us is that we refuse to let anyone stress us out. And that's the beauty of the pain that we've been through, is that we refuse to go back to that dark place. We refuse to go back to the bullshit. That's dead. That's done for. And it's probably been dead for a long time for some of us. I know it is for me. Some of us learned super early, to the point that it freaked other people out. My knowledge alone scared off men, including some that were a little bit older than me. They were intimidated by my knowledge, by how much I knew, just based off conversation. And I guess I can't say I blame them, because I was like, 18, you know? And they thought I was dumb. You know, because of my age, right? They thought I was just a young, dumb, pretty girl. Oh, they were in for a surprise. And needless to say that my knowledge has saved me. And it scared the shit out of them, because I know the game. I see you know the game, of course. The game has been played on me since I was born. The game has been, hey, it's been open season. The moment that someone decided to corrupt me at a very young age. But I am not a corrupted soul. You know, I am not. Even though they try to implant their darkness into me, we still emanate light. It's beautiful, isn't it? Very beautiful. You know, what keeps you grounded is constantly meditate on the thought that you have come a long way. Not just with the financial stuff, not just with, oh, I came from poverty, now I have money. It's deeper than that. That's great and all, but you know what's even better than that? Is the fact that you're still a child of God, that you're still with the Most High. After all of that pain that you went through, all those traumatic experiences you've had, all the attacks that they threw at you, you had every reason to be a part of the darkness. We had every reason to be a part of the darkness and to be a savage. It would, if anything, it would have made more sense for us to be a savage. And I don't mean that in a good way. I mean like some crazy stuff, you know? Because your mind gets warped to be one with the darkness. Which means that when your brain is rewired in this way by so much trauma, you get to a point where your mind is so twisted that you don't even believe you're doing the wrong thing. Think about that. Why do you think it's so easy for certain abusive individuals, not all of them, but certain abusive individuals, why do you think that it's so easy for them to hurt people with no remorse? It's because they don't believe that anyone could be good. They've been hurt by so many people that they lost faith in humanity completely, to the point they don't even believe that there's even one person. They don't even believe that there's at least one person that is good. So therefore, when they hurt people, when they take advantage of people, when they do people wrong, they don't feel bad about it because they expect them to not be shit either. Because they can't fathom the fact that, oh, there's good people in this world, because they haven't encountered any. Or maybe they overlook them because obviously there are good people, but at the same time, depending on what kind of environment you were in, it's kind of hard to believe that when you've been surrounded by nothing but darkness, because they expect those other people to be just as messed up as they are, because to them ain't no such thing as a good man or woman. And that is why they do what they do. These sociopathic, narcissistic, abusive, toxic people, for the most part, that's how they think. And honestly, some of us have gotten close to reaching that point. Yes. Because you look back at the type of traumatic experiences you've had. How the fuck do I even still believe in love? Ask yourself that question. Like, how? There is a big difference between being broken and being wounded. And one of the biggest differences is the fact that when you're wounded, that means that, yeah, you were hit hard. You know, somebody, they got you good. But you still rose and you did something about it. You addressed the wound and you continued on in that path. You didn't allow that injury to stop you. You don't allow anything to stop you, actually, and which makes you a wounded warrior, because you continue to fight. You continue to move forward, regardless of how many times you've been wounded. As long as you know that you're heading in the right direction and you know that it's worth it, and you know that you're worth it, you're worth the investment, and the fact that the Most High can see who you really are within. He could see your soul, something that a religious spirit can never do, because a lot of these so-called religious spirits, modern day Pharisees, they lack empathy. And when a person lacks empathy, they're unable to see your humanity. They're unable to put themselves in your shoes and actually see, wow, this person has been through a lot. I really feel for them. I truly have a lot of respect for this person because they have been battling for so long, but for some reason, somehow, despite all of these things that they've been through, they still have faith in God. That's not an easy thing to do, especially when you've seen a lot of disturbing things. You've been through so much, and somehow you still have faith in God. It takes wisdom to maintain a strong faith in God. It really does. You know? And so that's why, like I said, don't worry about what people think of you. You know, because again, the Most High knows that your faith is real and it's genuine. And like I said, I wouldn't be saying this just to say it. Because like I said, and I've said this a lot, I never even thought that I never would have thought that I'd be making videos like this, where I'm talking about God, talking about, you know, stuff like that. Like, you know, I just didn't think I would because, you know, I'm not what you would consider a church girl. You know, I'm not a church girl, so that's just not me. You know, but no, seriously. When I have something, see, like this evening, right? I didn't plan on making this video. You know, I was just gonna have some food and just call it a day, you know, but I felt like I had something to say. This thing it's very therapeutic, you know. It's a form of therapy, and it helps me just as much as it helps all of you out there. So that right there is what makes this something that I enjoy doing, you know, thoroughly, because I know that I'm not the only person that feels this way. I'm not the only person that people used to look down on. You were pretty much left to fend for yourself for the most part. And somehow you figured it all out. You figured it all out. Somehow you just know. And the more you obey divine wisdom when it comes to you, you find yourself in very, very amazing places mentally and in life. And it doesn't matter what a religious spirit thinks, because at the end of the day, you have been divinely guided throughout your life. You have been divinely guided as you walked in the darkness, the type of darkness that a so-called religious spirit is not even familiar with. Or better yet, let me rephrase that. They are in the darkness. They are the darkness that they try to spread toward the real light. The real light was able to walk through the darkness but not become a part of it. Whereas the religious spirits, they hide behind a false light, but really, they're the ones who are the real darkness. They're the abyss. So don't let anyone discourage you from feeling that warmth of God actually reaching out to you. Because you'll be surprised. You know, people could look down on you. They could think whatever. At the end of the day, they're only judging you based on your outer appearance. They don't really know who you are as a person. You could be an amazing person. And maybe you have traumas. Oh, yeah, somehow some people think less of you, less of us because of that, which is really fucking dumb. But hey, you could let them be stuck on stupid. That's fine. Let them sleep on you. Just like you know what I mean? Believe it or not, for some of you guys that love my content, love my videos and stuff, there have been people that have slept on me as well, you know? And a lot of times it's like God is protecting you from these people. So if they overlook you, if they don't value you, they don't value your light, your presence and stuff like that, they just act like, it's nothing. That's fine. Let them leave. You don't need them. Trust me, God is going to orchestrate a way where they're going to see how much you didn't need them. And the fact that you were able to reach high levels high levels of growth in life. A truly broken person does not evolve. And the fact that we have managed to evolve through all of that stuff just shows that we're far from being broken. See, the reason why the reason why they called us broken is because they expected it to be that way. They thought that the pain they inflicted on us, on top of the pain that we already experienced in the past, that somehow we were supposed to remain stagnated. We were supposed to be just gone, right? They did not expect for us to rise the way that we do. They don't expect it. That's why and another thing too, the fact that they call you broken, that's also a reflection on the fact that they know that they have caused so much pain and trauma on you that it's actually supposed to break you. They're literally confessing because they already know what you were up against, and they were the ones who contributed to your supposed downfall, which never happened because you will never fall, and you will never fall, but they expected it. They expected you to disappear. They expected you to never come back. But guess what? You came back. You returned stronger and wiser than they will ever be, and they get to witness that, and they can't even believe it. They are in shock at the fact that all the pain that you've been through before you met them, and on the day that you met them, and on the day that they walked away from you, thinking that that was it. That was nothing. You were just getting started. They don't even realize all that stuff that you've been through, right? You were just getting started. They thought that was it because in their little pea brains, they cannot fathom someone as resilient as us. They cannot fathom somebody that can somehow make something happen with little to no love. We know how to thrive with little to no love, like a fucking cactus. We don't need a lot of water, just a little bit to grow. But we adapted to that harsh environment to where all we need is a little bit of agua, just a little bit, not too much. We had to. It's not a choice, And the ones who survive, you already know. They become the fittest of them all.